This is pretty crazy. This video that we're going to watch has 1.3 million views. And it's a modern women are furious because men are going their own way video. And you know what, a video like this type of video, when it pops off, usually I would say it caps out about, I don't know, 300,000, 400,000. But this thing absolutely blasted through that ceiling and hit the mainstream. I mean, a video like this getting this many views in 8 days, it hit the mainstream. And this is a great representation, or I guess just like a sign, symbol, that many men, it's like they're all starting to kind of wake up collectively and realize that, hey, what's going on with, I guess, the opposite gender? Because they're not that desirable. We see a video or a comment that says high body counts, unrealistic expectations, TikTok brain, no loyalty, no moral compass. The list goes on. So you can kind of see that a lot of men are in agreement, a lot of English-speaking men, obviously, that they're kind of tired of it. They're kind of tired of the promiscuity. They're tired of the, boss babe, feminist, Western ideology. And they're also tired of the high expectations from these women when they really aren't in any position to be demanding the things they're demanding. They are all, I mean, what is it? It's hoflation, right? Men of today have to work 10 times harder to get a woman 10 times less desirable than their grandmother, something like that, butchering that. But many men are aware of this hoflation. So let's get into this.
Surprise! The number of young single men in America is at a record high. This is why. According to Pew Research data that was released this week, a staggering 63% of men in their 20s are single, which is almost double that of women.
I'm gonna be single forever. I just realized that, man. I'm gonna be single forever. And I'll say that, and some people are like, that's sad. It's not sad. It's reality, bruh. I'm gonna be single forever.
Third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. So I've got a question for the men. So my comments are filled with guys saying we're done.
It's that partner bullshit. That's one of the reasons why. It's like, it's the egalitarian brainwashing you've been faced with that you then carry over into a relationship. We're not partners. That's for homosexual relationships because they are quite literally the exact same. You have a man and a man and a woman and a woman. The partners, they're literally the same. Men and women are opposites. In no way are they partners. They're quite literally the opposite.
We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done.
I'm seeing more and more of these videos, and honestly, it makes me sad because guys have told women why. We've made it very clear why we're walking away. And we're walking away in droves, and it's only going to get worse because you're not hearing why we're walking away. It's very simple. Don't read between the lines. Hear these words. There is absolutely no benefit anymore to being in a relationship with a woman for a man. None. Zero. Zilch. Especially when you consider the risk compared to any potential reward. Roughly 55% of marriages end in divorce and the guy loses everything. Add into it all the relationships where they weren't married and the guy lost access to his kids and had to pay mountains of child support and so on. When you really look at it, there's less than a 1 in 4 chance of having a successful relationship. Would you risk everything you have? Would you risk your children and having access to them, knowing you only had a 25% chance of success? I doubt it. Add to it, the expectations that today's women have are beyond absurd. We all joke about the sixes, but the reality is that is most women's expectation. You expect men to give, and offer nothing in return. I'm not saying any of this to be mean, but I am being blunt in hopes you'll hear it. Because we've said it over and over and over again. And yet, you're still asking us, why are you walking away? That, in a nutshell, is the crux of the problem. You ask us, but you don't want to hear the response. And
I mean, to be fair, it seems like this woman really did want to know. She was going out of her way asking. But I mean, yeah, it's really quite obvious.
Hear it, you don't want to accept it. My honest advice to you ladies is this. Get a mirror, look in it, and ask yourself, what are we offering to men? Why should men want to be with us? And if your answer is things like you have a great career or job, or that you're going to cook and clean, none of that matters to us. Not in the least. What matters to us, peace, loyalty, and acknowledgement. Something very, very few women give to their man.
So I will say, he doesn't speak for me when he says that I'm not interested or men aren't interested in a woman that can cook and clean. And I guess, the reason why I really like that is because I find it very attractive. I find it very sexy when a woman does these things and is willing to do these things, not because I can't do it myself or that I'm not willing to do it myself, because look, cooking, cleaning, is this really hard? It's not hard to do. Cleaning isn't hard to do. As a matter of fact, I'm a very clean person, always have been. I can cook. It's not challenging. It's not a hard thing to do. The reason why I like it is because I genuinely am attracted to it. I find it sexy. It's nurturing. I don't know. I'm a man. I'm attracted to a woman with nurturing qualities, and a lot of these modern women don't have that. So that's why it's like if a man it really only makes sense if you're going to be with one of these women that doesn't have these abilities, isn't nurturing, isn't kind, and what he's saying isn't going to bring you peace, isn't loyal, isn't going to be appreciative of you. It really only makes sense to just use them then for what they're presenting their worth or what they should be used for, which is just sex, right? It's like, okay, that's really, if you don't have these domestic abilities, I mean, I'm not really going to be attracted to you long term. I don't really have any interest in being around you for an extended period of time. It doesn't really make sense. You're not wife material. Why would I wife you up? And all these things this guy's describing, child support, divorce, losing assets, having to split assets. Absolutely, he's right. And the thing is these modern women don't even make that risk worth risking. It's not even worth taking that chance because of what they are offering in exchange.
So it's been brought to my attention that men no longer want to come up to women anymore due to sex allegations, women being just so rude and disrespectful, and rejection. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know men didn't want to come up to women anymore. I'm barely finding this out.
I'm going to continue to bring this up whenever I hear modern women talking about how modern men don't approach as much as they used to. For one, pickup artistry boomed in the 2000s. So I would actually say that there are a lot more cold approaches going on than maybe the mid 90s, late 90s. But again, the only time where it actually makes sense that a man would approach a woman would say, yes, maybe in a bar, but that's not what a lot of these women are talking about. A lot of these women just, for some reason, again, it goes back to just, they're all indoctrinated by romantic comedies where these meet cutes occur and a guy approaches a woman and sweeps her off her feet in a grocery store. And for some reason, these modern women now look around and they see that's not taking place as much as they think it should be. The ways that it usually would occur through family, through friends, through school, through neighbors, through coworkers, at church, and yes, at a bar or a restaurant. But a random man approaching a random woman during the day when she's going about her errands has never been a way people really meet that much. It's so insignificant. It's so minuscule that if you look up how people have met, it often won't even meet the study. It won't meet the graph. It's so minuscule, it's not even worth mentioning. It's not even 5%. So this idea that modern men are just, they're not approaching, it never really was a way that couples were created, honestly. And I would say that pickup artistry, right, that boomed, with Mystery and Neil Strauss and The Game. This is modern. So I would actually say that men approach random women. Cold approach became more of a bigger thing than it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s.
Why do women choose to cuss guys out when they come up to them and approach them? I have no idea. I apologize for that. But there's just too many fine men. And if it takes me, the women, having to come up to you guys and shooting my shot, saying what's up, being the big stepper, then I'll just have to do that. And I'm going to just start coming up to you guys and shooting out compliments and see where it takes me.
Really not interested. This is where I think I'm probably different than some men out there. I don't actually want a woman to do that. I don't think that would be attractive. It might be a sign of desperation. And here's the thing. And here's the big thing. If a woman is coming up to you and approaching you, chances are she's beneath you in sexual market value. That's a fact. That's a fucking fact.
So if I start coming up to y'all in the grocery store and I say, excuse me, sir, you are just so sexy, I want a response, okay? I don't want none of that shy stuff.
Again, this woman here who, you know, the angle she's presenting to you is quite flattering for her. Let's see the rest of your body, lady. Chances are the only man she's going to be approaching, the only type of man she's going to be approaching is a guy who is so obviously out of her league. Let's be real. She's not going to approach some guy who is realistically an equal sexual market value or even maybe slightly above. It's going to be a dude that is super fit, tall, handsome, right? She's not going to approach a guy in her league. It's not going to happen. And her looks match. So let's say she's a 5. And then there's a man who is also a 5. Well, in general, women are more attractive than men. So a female 5, there are a lot more female 5s than there are male 5s. Because in general, men are less attractive than women. So her looks match is actually superior to her in looks because there are less of him than there are of her.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and
Check that out. So now we're hearing women displeased with role reversal now that the roles being reversed doesn't overtly benefit them. That's funny. And I'm sure if I were to ask her, what do you think about feminism? What do you think about gender equality? She probably would think it, in general, was a good thing. But now all of a sudden, role reversal is something she isn't really happy with. But the truth of the matter is, what a lot of these modern women have become accustomed to is men being kind of the submissive in a way. Like, yes, in general, men are going to be the ones to create a connection out of thin air, but they're not going to continue in heavy pursuit. Like, they want to see reciprocated interest. And this is something that this woman is taking to the extreme. She's like, oh my God, men want equal treatment. Men want to be chased and pursued, and they want effort. Yeah, I mean, look, it's like these women have become so used to not having to do anything. And it's so over it. The way they behave as well, they really don't think they have to do anything than just look pretty. And they're like starting to hear men talk, and they're like, what do you mean? We have to do more than just be pretty? That's ridiculous. You want us to chase? How sassy are you? It's like, look, just want some interest, want some effort. And she talks about how women now have to put in a bunch of effort. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been on Yes, like some of these dating apps, women, when they say effort, they mean hey. They mean like 3-letter words. They wouldn't know effort if it hit them in their face. They have no idea what effort is. They've never done it. And it just goes back to what I was saying, is just they're not really that useful in many ways. They really just lead with their looks. They're all about looks. They're all about makeup. And once you start going past that, once you start getting a little bit deeper, just completely not worthwhile. They lack nurturing qualities. They lack feminine qualities. And they all just lead with their looks. And it's like, that's cool if we're just going to hook up, right? But I'm not going to like chase you then. I'm not going to seek much less. I'm not really going to look for anything more.
That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore, don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk.
No, not really true. Not really true.
Even if you weren't interested at first. How my parents met? They met at a bar, and my dad asked for my mom to dance, and my mom was like, get out of here. She wanted nothing to do with him. If he had just left and listened to her, they would have never gone married. They would have never had kids. But he was persistent. He wanted to take her out on a date so badly. He was like, what do I have to do to take you out on a date? She was working late their first date, so he went to her work, picked her up, prepped a dinner, took her to a park, Just plan the whole thing.
Because if a man persisted like that in today's dating world, he would at the very least be called a creep. And at the worst, he'd be going to jail. That is the reality that a lot of men face. So that in combination with the fact that women are not really reciprocating effort and they're not treating men very well right now, there is a large group of men that are saying that it's just not worth it. And they would say that women have asked for it. They have asked men to leave them alone. So guess what, ladies? They're leaving you alone.
Yeah, so a couple things with this woman. One, right, a lot of minor women are not worth that much effort. They're not that desirable. You're probably not as good of a woman as your mother was. And that's just, I'm not trying to come off as rude, but chances are you're not as feminine. You're not as nurturing. You probably have had sex with more men than your mother has in her entire lifetime. If you want that to happen, then go to a bar, right? Go to a bar. You probably will get approached there. There's that graph that I bring up a lot on this channel. People are still meeting in a bar and a restaurant quite frequently. So go to a bar. Literally do what your mother did. Go to a bar. You'll probably get approached. It's not that hard. But what she's expecting, right, you guys? She's not expecting to be approached at a bar. She's expecting being approached while she's doing her errands or she's just out in her daily life. It's really simple. If you want to be approached, go to a bar. Chances are you'll be approached. And I don't know what it is with this being a flex for some reason, talking about how a man approaches a woman and how at first she had zero interest in him because she didn't find him charming or whatever. And then he was able to just eventually convince her of his value. I don't know why this is some sort of flex. I don't know why people brag about this. I think it's kind of sad. Like, I get on the initial approach, there might be a little bit of resistance. That I understand is pretty realistic. But for a guy to have to continually like try and convince her, go out on a date with me, and then he goes out on a date and he has to convince her to go out on a second date, and she really isn't showing that much interest, it's not a flex.
I'm 19 years old. I've never had a boyfriend, but what I do have is a 30-page list full of qualifications and standards said person has to meet.
All right, this girl made a video talking about her requirements to be her boyfriend. And the comments are absolutely ripping this girl apart because whatever she's asking for in this video is a little bit too much. So let's go through the video and let's see what is too much for these guys.
First of all, I have to be attracted to the person.
Okay, number one, she has to be attracted to her partner. I know. How ridiculous of this girl to...
Oh God, we got a dude simping. And he dropped the partner word. Anytime I hear somebody say the partner, and if you're out there using the word partner, I am going to judge you. If I hear you say partner, I'm going to judge you hardcore because you don't even realize it, but your mind has been infected with the egalitarian virus. The first time I heard partner was when I was a young boy, and it was a man referring to his homosexual boyfriend.
Be attracted to her partner, but I'm sure something more unreasonable is coming up throughout this video.
I used to be super picky about height, but now as long as you're taller than me, I'm cool with it. I'm 5'4", so it's not that hard. But now you just gotta have a good, strong jawline and a sweet-looking face.
Okay, so the guy needs to be above 5'5" and have a strong jawline. This is what we're complaining about, guys. I see videos on TikTok where a girl's asking for a guy who makes $1 billion and is 7'4", but this is what we're getting upset about. Okay, maybe the video is gonna get more insane as we go on. Let's see what else she asked for.
For smiles, I am pretty picky. You gotta have a good smile. I don't know, to me, it's a really big deal. And you also have to look clean. I don't know, hygiene is a huge thing for me. Must understand emotions, and I don't care if you're a little bit emotional too.
Okay, so he needs to have a good smile, shower regularly, and, understand emotions. Is something gonna happen that I'm supposed to be upset about here?
Be better.
It already happened, dork. She said she has a 30-page list. What are you talking about? It's done. She said it at the beginning of the video. No matter what she says after this, people are going to be mad at her. Let me replay this for you, buddy.
I'm 19 years old. I've never had a boyfriend, but what I do have is a 30-page list full of qualifications and standards.
That's it. Nothing that is said after that in this clip matters. So you out here white knighting for her, bro. She said she has a 30-page list. Anything you say after to defend this is white knighting.
You have to match my obsession with the beach and...
Wow, now that one was totally uncalled for. She wants to have a friendship with her boyfriend. That's ridiculous. And he has to have a common interest of hers. Now, this girl's really getting unreasonable, guys.
to take things extremely slow, so you have to be willing to work with that. I need someone that has a very contagious laugh and that laughs a lot.
Her last two totally unreasonable requests are that he has a good laugh and that he just goes slow. If you think these standards are so high that this is an explanation for why she's been single for 19 years when, like, that's literally a completely normal age to be single for, like, what do you expect her to do? Have a relationship when she's 4 years old?
How is this guy defending a woman saying she has a 30-page list of standards? Is this dude really out here white knighting for this chick that hard? It completely went over this dude's head. This guy is extremely naive. He's either just acting dumb or he actually is dumb. The reason why these comments are coming in, they don't hear anything after she says she has a 30-page list. A lot of these guys probably didn't even listen to the rest of the shit she said. After she said she has a 30-page list, they probably went to the comment section and started commenting. How this went over this dude's head is beyond me.
But I guarantee if you ask any of these guys, what would you like your girlfriend to look like? They'd all give some, like, absolutely ridiculous comparison of what they want their girlfriend to look like. This girl...
Can you guarantee that?
That she wants her boyfriend to smile, take showers, and just be a happy person. And guys are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Dude, what fantasy world are you living in? To the girl in the video, don't take anything in the comment section seriously, because that was one of the most basic and normal requirements I've ever heard a girl ask for their partner on this app.
For their partner. God, it's embarrassing when I hear men use that word.
Good for you.
It's so embarrassing. He doesn't even realize what he's doing. This guy is so plagued by the egalitarian mind virus. He's so plagued by gynocentrism. He doesn't realize. He doesn't even realize. He isn't even in control anymore.
Wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, so nowhere did he mention the 30-page list. All right, bro. That's all I need to know. You're simping hardcore, buddy. Hey, maybe slide in her DMs now. She might give you a shot. She might not, though, because you might not match something on her 30-page list. But anyways, I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave the video. Again, pretty wild. That has 1.3 million views, man. Crazy stuff.